It is 8:10 a.m. It is April 23rd. Welcome to my channel. Yesterday we saw a bounce in the SPY. SPY was stronger than the Qs. SPY broke Friday's highs, but then closed inside Friday's session, and the Nasdaq wasn't even able to take out Friday's highs. So nice little pop there. Kind of called it with my free market scenario in the ES exactly what happened, but the trade setup didn't set up that great. So sometimes you can have a setup that works, but then it didn't really set up as a trade for me, so I just had to watch it pop and go about $5 or whatever. But that's trading, right? Anyway, without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile and macro profile to define structure in the market, and along with anchored VWAP, scam exposure level, supply and demand, most traded price of the year, the rolling month, the rolling week, and the previous day, all helps me find structure in the market. I want to be on the strength. I want to see who's control, and then that could have me put risk on. Okay, I'm getting pickier and pickier as trading years go on, which is a good thing. So you really got to know when your edge is present, and not when it's kind of present. Know when it's present. That's a big change for me. So, without further ado, please subscribe, set an alert if you haven't already, and if you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up or a like. That would be much appreciated. You can also follow me on X at Gonzo719. Alright, so we're going to get right into the futures, and we're going to see what's going on out there. We have ES, not up a ton, only up 0.14. Okay, Nasdaq's up 0.13. Dow's up 0.10. 10-year yield hasn't reported yet. Dollar is down 0.12. Russell's down 0.29. Ether down 0.34. 30-year bonds being sold, which should slightly raise the 10-year yield when it reports at 820. Bitcoin down 0.79. Silver's down 0.86. Gold down 1.15. Pulling back. Gold's pulling back. Okay. Crude pulling back. Down 1.12. The VIX is back down to 16.69. It's down 1.48%. Okay. Let's look at the Mag 7 Plus. All right. So we have Roblox up 4.18%. Let's see. Now, they report earnings on May 9th, so there must be something. We'll look into that later. Probably maybe an upgrade or something. AMD really got down to about in the 145 area. It's getting love, so that's really been knocked down. So here's a dip that people might be coming in and buying, right? And I hear large orders hitting in my ear. Not sure if that's crude or if that's the markets, but Meta up 1.2%. Nvidia over 800, up 1.19. Okay. Now, who's lagging? Tesla reports earnings today after the close. Apple, I just saw Apple's China iPhone sales dive 19% in worst quarter since 2020. So I just saw that. Has that Apple stock down 0.28. Now 165 is a key level there. Okay. Coinbase down 0.77. Okay. Moving on. Top sector stocks. Okay. Disney up 0.65. Qualcomm up 0.44. Johnson & Johnson up 0.38. Eli Lilly up 0.37. Now laggards. UPS reported earnings. They were up earlier. PepsiCo, I believe, reported earnings. Exxon down 0.17, and UPS now is negative, down 0.32. Okay, let's go to the swing trade list. See what's going on there. Spotify did report earnings. They're up 7%. So did GM. They're up 4.37. SoundHound's up 3.44. Datadog 2.5. Ford up 1.79. For Solar, ARM, Lockheed Martin They're all up. Okay, let's look at laggards here. JetBlue. Jesus, something's going on in the markets right now. Something. What is going on here? All right, so crude. I'm trying to see what is going on because the large orders is hitting the tape. Not sure. I'm trying to see if there's anything happening. Anyway, JetBlue down 10%. Guess they had bad earnings. Affirm. Let's see that. So it just says here, Affirm shares lower on report Walmart backed fintech one introduced buy now pay later. Okay. Charles Schwab's down 3.96%. Or that's Sherman Williams, I think. That's Sherman Williams. Alcoa down 2.9. American Airlines 5 below. Delta. Those are the down ones. Gold was down more. Maybe people are buying and find that's a dip to buy. Let's go back to leaders and let's go back to top sectors. And we will go back to sectors. Let's look at the leaders here. XLV, healthcare, maybe a little rotation going back into healthcare. Okay, semis are up 0.18. Communications up 0.18. Nothing's really monsterish here, right? Now, the laggard, basic materials. Now, I believe that's Sherman Williams. So, down 0.62. Okay. That will do it for the watch list. All right, we got some news, and I haven't got a chance to look at everything here in the news because something might have just dropped. I'm trying to see. Oh, wait a minute. All right, what I'm seeing, and this is what I'm reading right here on this little feed I have. It says Israeli military rejects allegations that its forces buried Palestinians in mass graves at Gaza hospital. Not sure if that's any reason to go on here. Now, if we go here, let's go get into some news. Okay, Apple I just talked about. The China, right? Amazon stock rose after the e-commerce giant launched a new grocery delivery subscription. Okay. General Motors stock rose after the auto giant reported robust first quarter. PepsiCo stock fell 0.2 despite the soft drinks giant beating quarterly earnings and revenue expectations despite a recall of some Quaker Food cereal. Okay. UPS stock rose 1.1 after the daily firm reported first quarter profit above estimates as cost cuts partly offset subdued demand. But now UPS is down. So JetBlue stock fell 8.9. The low-cost airline lowered its 2024 revenue forecast. There you go. Spotify stock soared 8% with the music streaming company reported its gross profit crossed $1 billion in the quarter for the first time. Affirm stock fell 0.2 with the fintech lender starting to offer buy now pay later loans for elective medical procedures in a major push beyond its core e-commerce market. Okay. Roblox stock rose 4.4% after JP Morgan upgraded. There you go. There's why Roblox was moving. Okay. Tesla earnings. All right. Now let's go into some upgrades and downgrades here. Okay, so upgrade. Let's see here. Datadog upgrade. So that's why that was up. Penn Entertainment, Roblox. There's the Roblox upgrade for solar. All right. Downgrades 5 below. That's why that was down. All right. What else? Coverage initiated. Let's see. Qualcomm has a buy at 200 price target. What else here? That's really it there. Just for some backup here, let's just see if there's anything else that wasn't there. Just want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. No. All right, that's that. Nothing in the juice that I saw. Okay. We can look at, let's look at the earnings. All right, so before the open today, GM, UPS, GE, PepsiCo, Lockheed Martin, FCX, Spotify, RTX, Raytheon, JetBlue, Halliburton. They reported all this morning. Okay. After the close today, Tesla, Visa, Enphase, Texas Instruments. That's what we got today after the close. Now, if we go to the economic calendar, okay, today, 9:45 a.m., you have S&P Global Composite Manufacturing. You got three of these, like a triple-headed monster here, 9:45. Then in 10, you have new home sales. So I'm probably going to stay away from this market until at least 10:10. Probably just going to stay away. And unfortunately, what happens sometimes with these 9:45, 10 a.m., I'm looking at a trade and I'm like, oh my God, it's setting up perfectly. And then that news drops and it's just like wild. And then it goes to where I want it to go. And it's just like, oh man, I wish there wasn't news there, but there is. So that's what's going on today with the economic calendar. Okay. Okay. I think we can go to daily charts. All right. Let's move over to those. All right. So, talked about that channel yesterday that we're in, right? Now, we zoom in here. The SPY had a nice move up, all the way up to a high of 502.38. But guess what? Seller showed up and we closed right here. We closed at 499.72 underneath the 500, which 500 is a big gamma level. So he closed inside Friday. So sellers showed up, right? Selling those rips. They showed up. So in the middle of this channel. So we have to see here. Like I said yesterday, we could definitely start like consolidating here. We have big earnings this week coming up, specifically Thursday. So market could be just waiting, and there's Passover this week. So let's see. Now where are we at now? 543. 543. We're right here. Actually at Friday's highs right now. Okay, so that's in like the upper third of the range. So, okay. That's where we're at. Now remember, what I said is, can we possibly pop up? Maybe go here on Friday. 504, 505. Last month's lows. That's definitely possible, but if we're in a new regime here, that could maybe roll over. So we just have to see. Okay, we just have to see. Now moving on to the Qs. Qs different yesterday. Was not as strong. Okay, it was not as strong. Look at the candle here. Look at Friday's candles. Right? So we opened here. Opened here. Pushed up. Couldn't even break Friday's highs. And then we fell back. Basically closing in the middle of Friday's session. Okay, so this is consolidating. Maybe because of the earnings this week. There's big earnings, right? So you just got some big ass candles here. And you got a double bottom kind of right here. So this support right now is support until it's not. Around 413. Okay, 413. So like I said, in this situation, we could easily pop up and come back up to here on Friday, maybe 424, and then maybe roll. But like I said, it doesn't mean we have to roll. We could break this and move up. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't have a genie lamp in front of me. All right. Now, where are we at right now? We are at 419.63. 419.63. They're like in the upper third of yesterday's session, still inside Friday. It's still inside Friday. So this is kind of setting up. If we keep going inside Friday, so let's say today you don't break out of Friday's range, it's setting up for a big breakout because you're going to break lower or higher, just depending on the earnings. And unfortunately, that will happen after the market close. So I mean, if you could trade futures on it. I mean, you could trade the markets because they're still extended hours, or you could trade futures um, on the stock itself. Obviously, you can extended hour trade, which it's not as liquid, but that's what we got going there. Right now, we can move on to the triple head monster, and we can look at the 10-year yield. Now, I said it should have risen, and it has. Okay, this is still just weighing like a little weight on the market. Okay, look at this little range here, right here. Okay, we're up again. Look, we closed here. We're up 0.54%. We're up to 4.648 yield. 4.64 yield. Okay, this keeps rising. If it breaks, if this breaks and we go back up higher up here, I would think the market's going to go lower. Doesn't always work like that, but that's usually what happens. Okay, now the dollar. The dollar is also trying to move up to this, like I said, around the 107, 106.74. Okay, these are both moving higher. Bad for equities when these happen together. Okay, strong dollar. Okay, higher yields. Not good, right? And then you add in the third head of this monster in the VIX. Now you do have a pullback here, all the way up to 21. Now we're down here to 16.65. But a 16 VIX is still a 1% expected move in the S&P 500. Okay, so still nice volatility there. All right, there's still some fear here. Got to hold over 16 to continue the volatility, unless we just rip higher. You know, these big earnings on Thursday are going to tell what we do. Okay, because if the big boys don't report good earnings, or just the market doesn't like what they see, it could be a tumble lower, and then this VIX should rise. Okay, so that's the VIX. That's your triple head monster. All right, now we're going to go over to structure with market profile. Okay, and let's see what we have going here. Now, here we go. Is that the ES futures? Expand this a little bit. Alright, so what happened yesterday? We moved the most traded price, like I said, right? Now, this is setting up for big earnings. Okay, why do I say that? Look at the profile over the last rolling week. It's balanced. That's a balanced profile. Okay, that means indecision. That means equal buyers and sellers over the last week of overnight and real-time trading hour sessions. Okay, that's what that means. Yes, how do we move lower? Yes, but look, since this low was put in, we've moved higher, higher, higher. Well, that's not, obviously this is a little baby move lower. But look, right, this is the excess. This is this. Okay, I just want to make sure, understand that that's why this is balanced now, because we moved back up. We didn't establish new value down here. We went here. Okay, so that most traded price of the week now is 50.47 about. Now, what did I mention yesterday? I said, just check this out. You can look at my video yesterday. I said this right here, this value area low from Friday's session in the overnight low, and there was also a demand zone here. Okay, I said that would be key level in the ES. Well, look where the low was. I said this area would be the key level. Well, we came there. And then what happened? We went all the way up here. So We could not take out 70% of the traders from Friday's session. Okay? And you only took out the overnight low by a couple ticks, and then that was it. You pushed up. Okay? So, like I said, I was stalking this thing, waiting because what I said in the morning, and it really just kind of had a lot of short covering, which doesn't give too many pullbacks. It had one pullback, but I have a rule. It pulled back to like it was hanging out at the most traded price of the day, and I don't initiate trades there. So I don't like that. You get chopped up there. That's one of my rules. So I just watched and I said, well, it's probably going to go without me if it goes now. It gave one kind of pullback, but I don't like also longing in like a middle of the range. It pulled back somewhere in here, right, like it pulled back somewhere like in here, and I'm like at the time it was like in the middle of the range, and I was like, you know what, could work. It did, but like I said, that's trading. Okay, now let's look at what we have going here. So remember, what happens most times, a little tip here, with the profile being balanced, right? What happens here is leading up to some kind of event, the market just does this because it's the bulls and the bears. There's most likely not going to be a breakout or something because we have such big earnings after Thursday's close. That doesn't mean you can't move. I'm just saying that's typically what happens, right? Because nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows. Okay. So again, what do we have here? Now look, you have a little baby session of the overnight from Sunday night into Monday morning, and look, little baby session inside Friday's range, right? Well, we have the same thing here. Here's yesterday's highs, here's yesterday's lows. Okay, here's the overnight high, here's the overnight low. Now, you are above the most traded price of the week, that right for right now, that shows strength for the bulls. Not tons of it because we're just balancing, right? But we have a playground. We definitely have a playground now. And I would say it's here. This profile for earnings, prior to earnings, okay? I feel like that's probably going to be what we hang out before earnings. All right? Now, let's look at this. I'm just trying to see what I'm looking at here. Now, the week high was taken out. I talked about that week high. That was also taken out. That's why the market pushed up, okay? So, what do we have here? Let's look at it. All right, like I said, we have inside. So there's not a lot of edge here at all. Okay, you're inside yesterday's session. Okay, you're inside. Okay, so you have supply up here that was tested right there yesterday, and we sold off from that supply. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Pretty simple. We'll get into the scenarios right now. Let's do the ES scenarios. All right. So let's go with the bullish one. Okay. Now remember, you just saw my overall probability of macro theme. Doesn't mean it has to happen. That's why you do scenarios, right? So this session is pretty balanced. I don't put too much weight into this. So for a long, you do have, okay, what I would like to see is something like this. All right. If you think you might break out, which we might, I don't know. I'd like to see something like this. You push up into the supply. Maybe you get rejected into the supply, right? But here's where you come back. You test this demand zone here and the most traded price of the week. If you hold it, you possibly could just push up, right? Maybe to the end of this supply. Of course, you can go higher, but that's one. That is one. Okay, that keeps you above the most traded price. Now, of course, we could also come down and just test this right off the bat and go up. Same thing, okay? There's a big demand zone here. at the overnight low. Okay, and the most traded price of yesterday. That's another one. I would be a little nervous, a little bit, if this held and then you started moving up. Guess what I'm going to wait for? To take this level and then go higher. Okay, now I talked about if we get weakness. So if we get weakness as well, remember this is the bottom of the range. Even if we did something like this, okay, like I said, I don't think we're making an outsized move before those earnings. And you start getting lower highs in this demand zone, well, guess what? Probably going to land around here. Okay, so that's the bull. Okay, now for the bear, you do have a big supply zone right up there that was tested yesterday and barely nipped it. Okay, you have now bulls who got long here, 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 pretty much not hurt. Look, and from here. Okay, that's why I love looking at the market profile, volume profile, breaking it out from real-time trading hours and overnight sessions. Okay, and you can just see the market's been getting higher lows. Okay, now what is that in time for? Well, if we do this and push up into this supply, you have to see how the market reacts to this. This is, like I said, more or less the top of this range right here. See the profile? That's the top of this range. So if we move into here and we start getting some selling, got some lower highs, well, we're probably going to revisit this level. Okay, if we take out this level, we're probably going to be revisiting down here. Okay, obviously you could, this is a bearish scenario. You could stop here too. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. So this is kind of, this is like I'm saying, you either react in this supply up here or you wait for a pullback to see if you get long. But if you break that level, you know, like I said, you could fall. Big demand zone here though, so like I said, I'd be cautious. But this would be my preferred short up here, lower high, lower high. All right, then you can ride this at least to here and see if you break, and then you're probably going to get some support in this zone here. Okay. Now let's move over to the Nasdaq. Let's see if it's similar. Might be similar structure. I won't have to go in detail about it because the structure would be the same. Okay, so this is the Nasdaq. All right, let's lift this up a little bit. Now the Nasdaq's profile isn't as balanced. See, because you have distribution up here, distribution here, and then you have the most traded price of the 24-hour sessions here. That's moved down. Now that probably would make this most traded price move down to 17,700. I would probably say this probably moves lower today in the RTH session. Remember, this is right now the 24-hour session. This is extended hours. This is all trading volume. Okay, I like to use this marker as the real-time trading hours. Okay, so the Nasdaq has definitely been weaker. You can see there's more of a range here. Right, you do got a higher low here, but then that was broken, and then you have a higher low, and then you have a higher. It's not as right. Nasdaq's been a little weaker because it doesn't have the financials, healthcare. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Same kind of demand here. Okay, now let's zoom in here because I'm seeing a very important level. Okay. So let's look at yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows. Couldn't inside still Friday's range. Okay. Now we do have a very key level here. Okay, so we do have something very nice to work off of for the Nasdaq. Okay, so this overnight low, which is this is the overnight high, price is here, overnight low. This overnight low, let's call it 17,276, lines up with yesterday's most traded price, lines up with the demand zone, lines up with the week to date VWAP. Okay, why am I saying all of that? That's confluence, right? That makes this a weak low. So it's the job, and the most traded price of the week in the 24-hour session is here. So that makes this area very crucial for the bulls to defend. Now remember, it goes both ways. It's like a bull bear line. So if the market just happened to come down here, now you do have a demand zone here. It could pop out of there, but if it comes into this area, one or two things are going to happen. We're going to come in here, we're going to bounce, and we're going to go and test this supply zone up here. Okay, this could also come from this supply and come down here, but whatever. I'm just saying the importance of that. Or we can come down here, break that level, break this demand, hold, and we're going to test the other side. So that's all. So I like the Nasdaq's cleaner levels today. Okay, I like the Nasdaq's cleaner levels. So we don't really have edge here. We're inside Friday's session, right? Market's here. Okay, you have opened here. We have this shorts to this much long. It's not really the best there. Okay, however, for me, if we look at these scenarios, I just kind of gave you the playbook here. So let's look at a bull scenario. Okay, the bull scenario, just what I said. We can come up into supply. We can come down, test this demand, but the area to defend is this area, the week low, right? The overnight low. If you come in here, even if we do one of these and start making our way back up, we're going to test, probably take out Friday's highs and see what we do in this supply. Do I think we go all the way back up here? I don't know. Like I said, I don't think it's probable. I think we probably land somewhere in here. Okay. Now, of course, what else can we do? We could break this level, come down to the other side of what would be kind of like a balance low, hit this demand zone, could probably be a bear trap. And we make higher lows, well, you're probably at least making it a back up to here. Okay, so that's how I'm going to look at the market today for the bull side. For the bear side, okay, for the bear side, I wouldn't be the best trade for me to short here. I wouldn't love that as much. However, look what we're coming into. It tested this supply yesterday, and we sold off, right? We closed here. So we're up there again. So if we come into here, I would suspect shorts would be trying to sell these rips up into here, and you just start getting lower highs. Well, we're probably going to work ourselves down to this level. Okay, and that could be the trade, just to this level. However, if you break that level, we could test the other side. That's where I think we'd probably bounce. Okay. Like I said, I think this is the playground for the Nasdaq inside here until Thursday. Could be wrong, but it's not about being right or wrong. It's about taking advantage of probability. Okay. So that really was your Nasdaq scenarios, and I really like the Nasdaq right now. I prefer that the levels are more clean. However, we have to see. Okay, that short looks juicy, the long looks juicy. Of course, the market could open and could be all weird. All right, let's look at crude real quick. I have time today. My daughter's off, so let's look at crude. Crude. Let me shrink this so everybody can see the sessions here. So this is crude. Okay, and briefly, where the hell did my marker go? Let's just look at it because I'm very interested in crude. Okay, so the most traded price of the month is $84.67. So $84.67 a barrel in crude. is the most traded price. You can see the orange right here. That's that big high volume node, right? Then you have the most traded price of the week. This is the near term most traded price, right? That's about $82.10. All right, this is ping pong. Okay, usually you can go back and forth in between this range. Okay, if you see the profile, you see the last week's got very thin volume up here, and then your building value here, right? Now, price 8105. Why am I not seeing a session? Am I going nuts? Yeah, right here. Okay. So price is right here in a demand zone. Now look at all of this support here. Okay. Each time you come down here, you get bought, but you're also getting rejected right up here at 83. Okay, so I'm really eyeing this for the open. Okay, for the open. Now this also could get broken here. This support around 80.70. Even if it did and recovered, well, it might be a nice long. Okay. Now, obviously, this is the range right now we've been in, this little range. So this could be a back and forth. Now today you do have API, American Petroleum Institute gives their inventory at 4:30, but that doesn't affect today. And look, I just want to show you something. You have very thin volume here, so which means you can traverse this very quickly. And if you take this out, boom, you're going to go at least to here. Now you have that resistance at 83. You have single prints here that you could rip right through here. You do have supply here, but you probably would go back to maybe 80, that 84.67. Okay. Now I'm going to give some bonus here. I haven't shown this in a while, but let's just look at the markets. Okay, and look at them in a different way. Okay, we'll start with the ES. Okay, haven't shown this in a while, but I do look at it every day. All right, so just to explain this, okay, this is the ES. Okay, the heat map. You can see the very bright heat, right? That shows more trades. Okay, the cooler is yellow. All right, that is a year ago. That dates back a year ago from today. Okay, that profile. The white, this is this year. So the white profile right here is this year. Okay, so you can see this is all of this year. That's the profile, right? And we're down here now. Price is here. Okay. Now, 4-hour candles here. Okay, and each little profile I have shows me weekly and monthly. So every little blue profile is a weekly. That's each week. So I can just look at this and go, okay, there's the weeklies, right? This white outline is the month. Shows me monthlies, right? So all on one chart. Okay, so I can see this month's low here, then we made a higher low in the monthly. Now look, we broke this monthly low and we're here, right? And then if I wanted to see the weeklies, I would just go, okay, we took out this weekly low, took out this weekly low, took out this weekly low, took out that weekly low. Now look, we're making a higher weekly low this week. Okay, now within that, you got the most traded price of this year is here. That's 52.06. We're below that. Okay. You also got the most traded price of this month. These are not rolling. These are not rolling. These do not roll like my other levels. This is the most traded price of this month, 52.54. We're below that, right? And then the whites are the most traded price of the weeks. So that was last week's 5100 was the most traded price of the week. This week's 5029, and price is above that right now. Okay. And you can see right here is a little shelf, a little pocket, a low volume node. Could be where we land, maybe 4900 if we fall farther, right? The most traded price right here of the last year is 46.83. If we really get weak, that would probably be where we go, right here. Okay. Now, if you look at the NASDAQ, okay, let's look at the NASDAQ together. Just want to show you how much the NASDAQ traded at this price. It almost became the most traded price of this year and of the last year. This is the most traded price of a year ago, but look how much volume was put in, and this price was 182.84. I talked about that a lot. Okay, so once we broke that level and got away from it, that's why the move was so violent. That's why that move was so violent. Okay, now look, we're building out volume here, right here. And this is also volume from the past. Remember, this profile, the heat map is from a year ago, but this white is from this year. This is what we did this year. So look, this is this year's beginning of this year. Down there. So it'd be interesting if we were to come down to here and take away everything from this year. Okay. So now look, you can see we almost have double weekly lows here. And let's see if it can push off. I could say if we do bounce up, could probably land here to 178.82. Okay. But I like to look at these because you can just see everything in one felt swoop. Monthlies, weeklies, the candles, what's going on, most sure prices of the month and the weeks. I just like it. It's a nice quick thing to look at. And here's crude. There's crude. Okay. Here's that little playground I said we're in. Okay. And now look, you're still pushing down right here. Right? So this is crude this year, the white. All these whites. That's this year. Here's the most traded price of the last year and of this year. 76.46. Right here. Okay. Once we broke above that, that's why the move was really nice. Okay. So support could come right here. See this low volume node? That's at about right around 79.86. Call it even $80 a barrel. That could go down there too, and that would be something to look at if we bounce down to $80 a barrel. If you break these lows, we're probably going there. If you hold these, then like I said, you're going to probably go back up to down 83, and then go back up to see this most traded price of this month is 84.74. So we'll have to see. All right, that's how you look at these charts. They're great to look at. Okay, just look at crude one last time. We're still hanging out at these lows. All right, crude opens at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Okay, so I will be really eyeing this to see some kind of order flow trap, possibly here. Okay, so I gave you some extended extra features there. Not sure who stuck with me. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Okay, not sure if you did, but subscribe, set an alert if you did. All right, do this every morning at 8:10 a.m. All right, show me some love, give me a big thumbs up, and you can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. All right, I wish everybody luck today. We got our plans in the ES, the NASDAQ. I'll be eyeing crude. Okay, and everybody have a great